So you're talking all things property this morning. We're looking at the announcement that was made by the finance minister announcing about a 0.5% increase in VAT, which is said to increase another 0.5% next year. So what does this all mean when it comes to property? Philip Skuman is here. He's the broker and owner of REMAX. Morning, Philip. You good?
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the VAT increase. You know that there was a protest before, like 2 weeks back. You know, the budget speech didn't happen, and now we're
here. It was even scary yesterday. We thought maybe
all of us
scenario might recreate itself.
crossing fingers. But let's talk about how the VAT increase will affect people that are already owning properties at this point, and whether they're living in the property or maybe they're renting it out.
So, yeah, firstly, like I just said, when Enoch speaks, he sucks the joy out of my life.
Oh, excuse.
But luckily, it's still proposed. It's not been tabled yet, so it's not final.
Mm-hmm.
But let's assume that it was tabled and it was approved by government. These are the effects that it would have. So, firstly, most accounting programs don't even they're not even created to account for a 0.5 increase, and these systems don't have a 0.5 on the mechanics, so you can't just add a 0.5. Number one.
Sure.
Number two, service delivery is going to get more expensive for everybody. You know, everybody, and the ones who are going to get less affected are those who are actually registered to claim this VAT back. In fact, they're going to have a cash flow increase. These supposedly evil corporations that are supposed to pay for everything, and some. These guys are cutting, and I'm not talking about big companies, and I don't want to mention names, but some of my friends have been telling me how they're cutting back on executive level. So these are also taxpayers, and they're also talking about an increased tax. And these people spend a lot on VATable products. So you're going to have less sales of these products because they can't afford, because they don't have a job anymore, because they were cut on their salary bill. But why can't government do it? Because it will institute riots. People would, if you start cutting government jobs, and this is why they are fearful, because it's already happening. I know personally some of our clients have not gotten paid last month. They're government employees. They didn't get paid. Government doesn't have money. This is why they're panicking. They need to do something, and a VAT increase will bring immediate relief for government. If you want my controversial opinion, and I'm going to give it, is that the voters are the ones that keep putting irresponsible people in power. Okay. And the voters are going to be the ones who pay for this at the end of the day. So, cool. Now you're getting what you voted for. So let it happen, to a certain extent. But it's going to affect everyone. It's going to affect property sales. It's going to affect property rentals, especially on the commercial side. Everything becomes more expensive, and you're going to pay for the service delivery we're already not receiving. You're just going to pay more for that.
So maybe let's go to new property buyers, Philip. How are they affected by the increase in VAT?
So, the prices are going to increase because everyone's life, living costs have increased. So now expected selling prices will also increase with that. People will need to get out more from their transactions. The property taxes will go up. VAT on commission for real estate agents will have to go up. All of your... So, everything will go up.
Who stands to win in all of this? Who's going to walk away?
The country loses, and government gets to extend their deadline. And when I say deadline, I mean deadline, because Winston Churchill said, you cannot tax a nation into prosperity. And this is exactly what our government is trying to do. They're trying to tax us into prosperity.
We are walking around as heavily taxed individuals. Like we
are the most taxed country in the world.
Well, I know economists have
of semi-developed economies.
Oh, okay, but I know that the biggest bone of contention for economists has been the issue around. Then if you don't institute on the VAT, then who do you tax? Do you tax the rich more?
They are proposing that. They're proposing a higher income tax as well, and a higher corporate tax. But again, these companies are already the only tax base we have. This is where the money is currently coming from. And companies are already fleeing. Some companies are closing their South African operation.
We've seen that. High net worth individuals already fleeing
Already, the high net worth and these supposedly evil people who make too much money, they're the ones who currently pay for the bills, and they're not voting for current government. So government doesn't care because the voters aren't affected. But what they don't realize is this is going to affect the voters. This is going to affect the poorest of the poor. You are now going to pay 50 cents more for your can of baked beans, or R1 more. If you do that a couple of thousand times, like spread it over across all of your products that you use. Fuel. Now, if fuel goes up, we know, everything goes up. So at the end of the day, this is just your living standard will drop.
On that somber note, we're going to leave the conversation.
So let's hope this doesn't get voted in. This is at the end of the day.
Just
we
still
still
tabled. There's not like yet an effect.
And the EFF, the MK, and the DA said that they won't support any budget proposal that has a VAT hike.
I think we're about to see, especially coming into the debates that are coming, we'll see that come up, the conversations of trying to oppose this. Philip, thank you so much for your time. That's broker and owner of REMAX, Philip Kumar.
Thanks, guys.